everybody. Welcome back to Ghostwood, the Twin Peaks podcast. I'm Charles Skaggs. No funny little sound effects starting us off this time. Unless you want some, I can throw in some. But with me, as always, the ever lovable and ever quotable Zan Sprouse.
Aw, thank you.
Yes. So Zan got quoted done from last time's episode. Yeah, it was like 2 weeks ago now. But we're getting a little love on the Twitter machine.
Thank you so much, everybody. I love that people are listening and talking to us and quoting us.
Yeah, Joel Bacco at Lost in the Movies on Twitter, which got retweeted by John the Peaky at JPB_Littlegreen. That's a bit of a mouthful. And but thanks, John, for retweeting that, because it was great to have Zan's wisdom shared throughout the Twitterverse.
I'm just excited that there are still people out there that like silent film.
Yeah.
I never want silent film to die. It's such a fascinating medium.
It is. I was always like a Buster Keaton fan. So I'm more the silent movie comedies.
Gotcha.
Although I do think Metropolis, of course.
Well, that's just beautiful, and of course anything Georges Méliès did was gorgeous.
And A Trip to the Moon, which is just the kind of seminal film classic.
Yes, absolutely. The film school 101. You have to see this to understand how different moving pictures was as a medium for the time. And I love Buster Keaton. He is my favorite of the film comedians, the old time film comedians, and I also am a huge fan of John Gilbert. I was in his fan club for a while.
Nice.
Or his appreciation society. Yes, he's a tragic story. Grew up outside of Pittsburgh, came to Hollywood to become famous, and then, of course, in the 30s, died penniless and drunk.
A very heartwarming tale.
Very sadly common tale for silent film actors.
Yeah.
Once talkies came along, they didn't always, and that, like we were saying, like everybody was talking about on Twitter, that silent film acting is a completely different game.
Right, because you have to be more expressive.
Right.
And, emote with your eyes and your facial expressions to sell. I mean, yeah, you have the dialogue cards, but, it's still, you have to project more.
And I'm sure everybody's noticed this watching silent movies, that you'll see someone obviously say a sentence, and then the dialogue card will just say, "I'm sorry," or "yes," or the dialogue cards don't always match. And then there are situations like with Metropolis. A lot of Metropolis was lost, and that was a common thing at the time because of the silver nitrate stock, which is highly flammable.
Right.
And a lot of Metropolis,
as we know from watching Inglourious Bastards.
Yes. And Cinema Paradiso as well.
Oh, I haven't seen that film, believe it or not.
Oh, yes.
I know of it, but I haven't seen it.
Somebody's blinded in a fire because a fire in the projection room. So, if you love movies, it's a wonderful, wonderful film. So a lot of Metropolis was lost, and in order to deal with it, when it started coming out on video, which of course it's public domain like most silent movies are, the cards were just rewritten so the movie made sense, even with the missing footage.
Okay.
They were able to just rewrite and this is a common thing too that happens in Hollywood with script doctoring, especially with animated movies or movies where there are talking animals or something like that, where if a joke isn't working or someone doesn't like it, you can always rewrite the animals, right, or rewrite the animation. So this is a similar thing. So the cards were rewritten to make sense with what was left, but still be part of the story. And there was a recent restoration where they found the original card, the original dialogue, the original script, and then just would have a black card with a synopsis of what's missing.
Okay.
So
to be filled in later.
Yes. Well, not even to be filled in later. Like, we don't have the scene, but here's what was happening during this scene. So imagine, if you will,
Got it.
This happening and this happening and this happening, and then they can go back to what was left of the movie. So,
okay.
It was, yeah. So the cards could be manipulated a film could be manipulated very, very easily, because of the cards. But a lot of people just did not make it. And, after, when in 1928, when talkies came out,
yeah,
it's around the same time people started to pay taxes. And so it was it was a very tumultuous time for someone who didn't necessarily work as a talkie actor. And then, of course, 1929, anybody who had stocks didn't.
Right.
So a lot of people lost all their money, and then they weren't able to work. And John Gilbert is a special case, too, because, he kind of punched Louis B. Mayer in the face. And that doesn't do well when you're, like, under contract with MGM. So
Go figure. See that?
Yeah.
And that kind of makes me, think of a lot of. I just rewatched Mulholland Drive this past week. That's how I spent the week off with no Twin Peaks.
Oh, such a sad week.
Yes, it was. Yes. So for those of you who were like, as we were sitting here in film chat, I thought I'd sort of try to segue back to Twin Peaks. I'd probably failed that horribly.
No, you did a good job.
Okay. But actually, I did watch Mulholland Drive, and I forgot how good Naomi Watts is in that.
Naomi Watts is fantastic in that movie.
Even though that, the ending, I still like. It's such a jarring transition.
Well,
at the end, but yeah,
Lynch.
Yeah, exactly. So once once they kind of look inside, and you almost get like reality gets sucked into that box or whatever, and then we shift to the whole Club Silencio thing. That's when it just totally throws me. But it's still it's still fascinating to watch. And
she got the pool cleaner. I got the pool.
Exactly. So, but the reason I bring it up is because it's just very, very old Hollywood, in the sense that you get a feel for just the shadiness of the like how like probably you had the like aspiring starlets and nasty or backroom deals with studio producers, which I'm sure still goes on today.
Right.
But it was just that it's more known for like the glory days of Hollywood.
Right. The casting couch was
exactly
was a famous thing. And then in that movie too, you have the aspiring starlets, and then you have the never made it aging wannabes, and there's all kinds of every Hollywood character that you can think of.
Exactly. And with David Lynch, that he just has this just this love of old Hollywood that comes through in everything, including Twin Peaks. So that was fun. So I thought that was a good way to spend the week off. But now we're back and ready to talk the Return Part 9. This is the chair.
This is the chair.
This is the chair. So we get the return of Betty Briggs.
Yes, we do.
After Charlotte Stewart, after quite a long time. But and she has a rather important role to play, which I thought was rather nice. We also get to catch up with Sylvia Horne a little bit, and poor Johnny Horne.
Oh my goodness!
Which we'll talk about. So, okay, so ready to dive in? I'm ready to dive in. And first topic I want to talk about: Cooper flew the coop.
Cooper flew the coop. How the hell did that happen?
Exactly. So we kind of pick up with Gordon Cole and Albert and Agent Tammy Preston and Diane Evans, played of course by Laura Dern.
Laura Dern.
And And we learned something rather interesting about her, which we'll get into as well.
Oh, yes, we do.
Yeah, so they're taking a little private government plane back to Philadelphia.
Uh-oh, we got to turn back around. We're
Yeah,
over East North Dakota.
exactly. So basically, you can hear the skid marks in the sky as they have to turn around because they get a call from Colonel Davis, Ernie Hudson's character, at the Pentagon.
I don't care for your language at all, Colonel.
Exactly. That was such a great Gordon line.
Oh, Buckhorn.
Yes. And
I was like, what is he talking about? Then when he said Buckhorn, I was like, oh, nice one.
And I kind of love how Tammy's just like, look, they're sleeping. You might want to dial it down a little. And
yeah.
Of course, it's Gordon. He's going to talk however he wants to talk.
Keep your voice down. What?
Yeah, exactly. Just hilarious. So, yeah, and then, of course, they're talking about that dead body in Buckhorn, which, of course, is...
Blue Rose. It doesn't get any bluer.
Doesn't get any bluer. So
well,
a Blue Rose case.
Right, and so they're...
And so this is what, like, Diane, Gordon asked Diane, hey, would you like to come along? Because, we really want to go check this out. And of course...
F you, Gordon, I want to go home.
Exactly. And, but then, when Gordon's off talking about that it's a Blue Rose case and relating to Cooper... suddenly it's not that big of a deal that she goes home.
And he gives her more vodka.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, that's the other thing. She holds up the empties.
I just need more of these, and I'll go wherever you need me to go.
A little more drinky.
Yes.
And so she clinks those little airplane bottles, and then she's trying to check her text messaging.
Blocked.
It's blocked. Yeah. But somehow they can get calls up there. So go figure.
Well, it's a little more bizarre than that, as we'll find out.
Exactly. So, and then Gordon, of course, gets that information from the Warden Murphy, over at Yankton Federal Prison, that Cooper flew the coop. So
how the hell did that happen?
Exactly. Well, we know how that happened.
I want to know what the warden is going to say when people wonder how did this guy just walk out of here
exactly
with a car and with a gun, and who the hell is Mr. Strawberry?
Yeah, there's no, this is not at all suspicious, especially now that Gordon knows.
Right.
So what? Apparently, Doppelganger Cooper staged this big elaborate escape plan. And Warden Murphy just wasn't involved whatsoever?
It was nighttime. He was asleep. I don't know what he's going to say. I think he's going...
Yeah, he's got to go down for this, I would think.
Yes.
But, so...
I'd like to think that the last thing that went through his head, other than that bullet...
Well, that's
Sorry.
That's coming up.
We're from Ohio, so... We have the Shawshank thing going on all the time.
Yes, we do.
So,
but
yes, Cooper flew the coop, and that's where we start our episode, is with Cooper walking down the street, full of all bloody.
Yeah, because the doppelganger Cooper is all like, no big deal. I had Bob ripped out of me. And but I'm just I'm just strolling down the street. I'm grabbing like a hanky off a fence post. And he makes his way back to this farm.
The farm.
Yeah, where we see Chantal again, Jennifer Jason Leigh's character.
Yes, and her husband.
Tim Roth.
Yeah, I was shocked to see him.
So we have two of the Hateful Eight.
That's right, we do.
And the characters are married. So I don't know if that was deliberate or not, but it's kind of
a good question.
It's kind of interesting.
They're horrible people.
Yeah, they are. Because we knew Chantal was, but
we did. But yes,
but her husband Gary Hutchens.
Hutch.
Yeah. Yep. Just right off the bat that he's got to be a douche because he makes a nickname out of his last name.
Out of his actual name.
Yes.
Well, and the fact that that's not their farm, they just killed the farmers that lived there.
Oh, is that all?
Just stacked them next to the next to a garage or a little barn and just went about their business.
Now, I don't know what it is about the show and farms, because remember that when Andy was looking for...
the guy who owns the truck that Richard was driving?
Yeah, Richard Horn. Yeah, Dick Horn was driving. And, there was and we presume that there was dead bodies inside this doorway that we never got to see.
Right. Yeah, we're still not sure about that.
So I have no idea if that's a connection or not with farms, but apparently, who knows? It's Lynch again, so who knows? So Hutch and Chantal hook Doppelganger Cooper, Evil Cooper, up with a new car, some guns.
New cars, new guns, and a clean phone.
Yep. Oh, and Chantal gives him a kiss and some Cheetos.
And some Cheetos, a wet one. Some Cheetos.
So what is the big deal? Like, apparently, the doppelganger loves Cheetos.
Bad people like junk food, apparently.
Yeah, because remember they were like Cheeto bags all in that hotel room back in the first two episodes.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yes. What is it about the Cheetos?
Yeah, it's life sustaining Cheeto dust.
And this is too long ago to have been any sort of political reference.
Yes.
So, but
the campaign was probably going on at the time.
That's true. Yeah, who knows? Maybe that is a political thing. I don't know.
It could be, but it's pretty funny regardless.
I think it is pretty funny.
I think it's one of those things. If you wanted to treat it as a political metaphor, you probably could. But
you could. Or then you could not. But so Cooper gets a phone that's just this little pink razor with blinged out.
Yeah, it's like an old school flip phone.
Yeah, it's like an old Motorola razor, and he writes a text on it.
And he has to do the number, like the
T9.
Hitting the 9 to tab through to the letters.
Oh, that was the worst.
Yeah. Ye olden days.
The olden days, yes. Yeah. So he writes out a text.
A rather ominous text, as it turns out.
A rather ominous text.
So around the dinner table, the conversation is lively.
Yes. So
the question is, what is the dinner table?
I wonder about that.
I have a theory about
Is it a Formica table?
Exactly. You're as always, we're totally in sync on this.
Is it green?
Green is its color. Yes.
So yeah, I was thinking about that too. So yeah, Cooper writes that text, tells Hutch to kill the warden at work or at home or on the way.
Right.
And then he heads out.
Yeah, he says kill the phone.
Which he just shoots it.
Yeah.
So it's proven effective.
So he does. And he also makes a phone call before the phone gets killed to Duncan Todd, who I guess now it's pretty much official that Duncan Todd, the mysterious benefactor that you really don't want to deal with, is in fact Doppelganger Cooper.
That's the thing. Yeah, I think.
So apparently he's behind the experiment, right?
That's the only thing I can think of, that he's Glass Box Man.
Exactly. He's the guy funding it.
Right.
And we know he's big into technology.
Right. And he's the one trying to get rid of Dougie.
So it's kind of nice that we're actually getting some connections at long last.
All come together.
Yes.
So that's good.
And we'll get a bunch of new questions, but
questions are fine.
Exactly. So
gives us something to talk about.
So that was good. So from there we kind of cut to the Fuscos, the detectives Fusco. And
the giggly detectives.
Yeah. That one guy is just like, he's constantly giggling at awkward moments.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the secretary at the police station in Fire Walk with Me.
I was just yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The one who can't stop laughing.
This phone's got a little ring.
Yeah, she gets very excited about that.
Yeah.
It was fresh yesterday. So they're talking to Dougie's boss and trying to figure out why this guy who's seemingly very innocuous has been tried to be murdered and his car's blown up in the last week. But we find out something about Dougie. He was apparently in a car accident.
Right.
Which is why everybody is like, "Oh, okay, let's help Dougie go potty again,"
Yeah.
So
well, we were wondering about that here on the podcast because we're like, everybody seems oddly cool with the fact that Dougie seems like he's not all there, and now at least we have an explanation.
Now we know why
because he was
something happened to him.
Because apparently he was a lot like that before real Cooper entered his body.
Right, and I think that was a part of it for him, that he was just very sort of a null personality.
Yeah.
So for him to
like an empty vessel.
Yes, an empty vessel. So for someone to come in and host, and him to be a host for someone who is not quite figuring out where they are.
Right.
They are going to. They're going to go unnoticed, shall we say. So they also tell us something else about Dougie.
Yes.
But there's no history on him since before 1997.
Right. So that was the year Lori and I got married, by the way.
Ooh, how does that figure into the story?
Exactly. It has to be a connection, right? See, that was very Lynch. Just throw something out there and then, okay, leave it up to us to kind of connect it somehow.
Right. And that was so.
But yeah, he's got no driver's license, no passport, no social security, no records whatsoever.
Nothing. So they're thinking possibly witness protection. They're not sure what it is. So what they do is
that's a pretty logical assumption.
That'd be the first place I went if I didn't know about the lodge.
Yeah, because you figure, well, this guy just showed up out of nowhere, and maybe it's a fabricated identity.
Right. Either he's a fabricated identity, he's trying to escape his own crimes, or he's a witness protection program person, or he's... But I mean, if I were just a regular cop in a regular town in Vegas, I wouldn't be thinking, "Oh yeah, this guy is from another dimension." That's when he. That wouldn't be my first thought. So they give him a cup of coffee, which, when it comes to Dougie, is always a good idea.
Yeah.
And then they take
Dougie's never gonna turn down a cup of coffee.
No, and the more he drinks, I think the closer we're getting to him actually being Cooper.
I agree. I think the coffee helps that progress bar move along.
Definitely.
To 70% installed right now or something.
I think we're still at 60.
You think it's 60? I was trying to be optimistic.
Well, a couple more things happen. So they take the mug from him, but after he drinks the coffee, he's sitting there and he takes a couple of things in. First, the American flag.
Right. And of course we get America the Beautiful.
America the Beautiful, yes. And then we get the socket.
Before we get a blonde who's rather leggy in red high heels.
Now I have a question about these red high heels.
Yes.
Which I will ask later. I'll ask it later.
Okay. All right.
But so we have the flag, we have the coffee, we have the electrical socket.
Yeah, we focus then on the electrical outlet.
So he's sort of figuring it out.
Hopefully.
But what happens is they get prints back on that piece of flesh that came off of the gun that tried to kill Dougie, and they go to get Ike the Spike.
Yeah, they don't have just his palm; they have his whole palm. Not his print, but they have his whole palm. Yeah, that was great. So so we pick up with Ike the Spike back in his hotel room as the police are moving in to capture him. He delivers a message, presumably to Duncan Todd. That
was my assumption too.
Yeah, although we don't know who exactly, but he says, "No cigar, taking medical leave."
Right, because that's what happened is when Doppelganger Cooper contacted Duncan, he said, "Is it done? Not yet. It better be by the next time I call."
Yeah.
So he's probably called Ike the Spike and said, "You need to get this guy."
Yeah.
And he's saying, "Forget it. I lost part of my hand. Everybody's suing me now." I can't do this.
And as it turns out, he gets arrested anyway, so he's essentially off the table.
That was adorable. He sees the cops coming in on him. He's like, "Oh."
Yeah. This little like moany squeal, helpless.
Oh.
He's got this big bandaged mitt of a hand.
Bandaged hand.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. So that was good. So poor Actus Bike. Oh, don't you feel sorry for him? No, not really.
No, he's a terrible, terrible man.
Yeah, he pretty much is. So we cut really quickly back to the Twin Peaks Sheriff's Department, where Lucy and Andy are talking about a chair.
Basically a 1950s comedy about a couple.
It's all shtick. Yeah,
it's all shtick for them. Yes.
So they're arguing about what color chair and ottoman they should get. Andy ends up telling Lucy that, well, hey, you just go ahead and get what you want.
And then she gets what he wants.
Because
that's the games that married people play
exactly.
with each other.
So did Andy just totally Jedi mind trick Lucy to getting his
Andy
chair?
that clever?
That would be kind of funny if he was, and that he was reverse psychologying.
That's the thing, is that Andy's very, very sweet and genuinely loves Lucy, so I could see him just saying.
But he was pretty adamant about what color chair he wanted.
He was.
He storms right up to her and says, Lucy, I want the red chair.
But then again,
But you think that he just totally caved.
Part of me wonders if he totally caved, and part of me wonders if he knew that if he made it, that she would want to do something nice for him. Because, I mean, all things being equal,
I'd rather be in Philadelphia.
If your wife said, "I really, really like this one," wouldn't you want to do what she wants?
Generally, yes. If you love your wife, yes. If you want peace in the house, yes.
Not even that. Just because you love them, you want them to have. You want them to be happy.
First and foremost, yes, love.
Mm-hmm.
Second is, I don't want to be deal with an upset wife. I want to be able to. I don't need the argument. So I'm speaking, of course, as a married man, because of course that never happens.
Well, and the thing is, too, I just think, again, they're a real... They are... they're kind of a poor man's Burns and Ellen. Yeah. I think. So, who knows? But...
now, Gracie. George and Gracie.
Say goodnight, Gracie. But,
Good night, Gracie.
Good night, Gracie.
Yeah.
So, we see...
Then we cut to Johnny Horn, who
just running around the house.
Well, apparently Sylvia's worried that somebody let him out.
That's the thing. I mean, where was he? I don't quite know.
And who else is in the house?
Right. I'm sure he
is
has
Audrey there?
She didn't mention anything about Audrey, so I don't know. But I feel so bad about this because a couple of podcasts ago I talked about, Johnny. Is Johnny still alive?
Yeah. Well, apparently he's still alive.
I know, and I feel bad.
I kind of knew that because he was on the cast list.
Why didn't you look at that?
Well, I didn't tell you, though, did I?
I appreciate that you not telling me.
I didn't spoil it for you.
So, apparently Johnny is... I've never quite known what Johnny's issues are.
Right.
His health issues, but
he just seems emotionally disturbed somehow.
Well, he has something going on with him, and it seems, according to what happened in this episode, he might have one of those issues that requires a helmet.
Right.
Because he's running around the house and smashes right into something. Yeah. I'm not 100% sure what it is. You hear glass breaking and a big bang and then lights flickering, so I'm wondering if it was a light fixture or a lamp or something.
Well, he runs into there's it's a picture of a waterfall.
Is it the waterfall?
That's what I thought it was.
It kind of looked like
that it was the waterfall. So yeah, there's like a bloody hole in the wall, and Sylvia's freaking out, understandably.
right.
But I had to wonder. Part of me, this reminded me a lot of the scene, of course, in the original series finale where Cooper smashes his head into the mirror.
There's that too, but do you also remember Johnny when he found out that Laura wasn't coming? He would smash his head into he had like some sort of house or dollhouse.
Yeah, it was like a dollhouse.
Yeah,
and he had his Indian headdress on.
Yes, he did. That was his thing.
His Native American headdress on, and just was banging his head back and forth. Not to bloody his head, but just enough.
No, not to bloody his head, but like I said, I think he has some sort of a disorder where he would probably should be wearing a helmet.
Right.
So I'm not sure what that was. So yes, is he trying to? And now we know that the Bob placenta is out there in the ether again.
Well, yeah. So do you think that maybe Laura is inside Johnny?
Oh, that is a fantastic question. I don't know.
Because of their connection, and if Johnny, again, is like an empty vessel like Dougie.
True.
We know that her spirit got out. Know whether it was ripped out or she voluntarily left.
Right, that's true.
Still open to debate, but she's out there somewhere.
Interesting.
So we would kind of get Laura back in play on the physical realm.
That would be. I would like that. Yeah. I would like that a lot. Yeah, I am not sure what to make of that.
So maybe at some point we'll see Johnny look in the mirror and see Laura's face.
Because wasn't Johnny also wearing similar colored pajamas as Cooper?
I didn't notice. I might have to go back and watch that now that you mentioned it.
I think he was wearing sort of that same dark blue type of pajamas. I seem to remember them being kind of blue now that you mention it.
It's possible. But now you think it maybe it's like a play on the series finale from the original series.
And if he did hit his head on the waterfall, the waterfall that is the Great Northern, which is where Cooper was when he did that.
Right.
Huh. Again, probably making way more out of this than I should be.
But I don't know. We've kind of speculated this kind of stuff before and turned out to be right.
But I've said before, sometimes with David Lynch, the only thing you're supposed to do is watch and remember.
So that's what it made me think of.
That's true. I just couldn't quite tell what happened to him.
So I'm kind of wondering if Laura is back in play in Johnny's body.
That'd be a good place to start.
Yeah, and it would kind of make sense about.
And if somebody had to, I think Johnny would probably be. If somebody else saw Laura at this point, they'd probably freak out because they'd know they're seeing a ghost or a dead person but I think Johnny would just be happy. Oh, Laura's finally back.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he understands that she died and what happened.
I can be with her again.
Yes, that he's not going to be thinking of it on a scary level, but on
a possession level. It's more of like, hey, I'm with my friend.
Right. Like when little children have imaginary friends that are actually ghosts in their house.
Right. Yeah, for all we know, Johnny's been having visions of Laura.
We don't know. This is the first we've seen of Johnny. We don't know what's going on with him.
Yeah, exactly.
We still haven't seen Audrey yet. It's driving me crazy.
That seems very odd to me that we still haven't seen Audrey yet.
Yeah, that's driving me nuts.
Because we're now at what, the halfway point.
No.
Barring any potential announcement at San Diego Comic-Con during the Twin Peaks panel.
I seriously doubt that, because did you see what is coming out on October 31st?
Well, yeah, the final dossier book.
The final dossier. I don't like that word "final."
Yeah.
In there.
I don't either, but yeah, it's essentially Mark Frost is writing another book, and presumably this is the dossier that was missing. Right. In the Secret History of Twin Peaks.
Or it's either that dossier and a combination of the dossier as to what's been going on in this series up till now.
Right. Well, remember Tamara in the book. I always think of Tamara. Tammy has the dossier that was given to her by Gordon. So maybe she's kind of added to it.
That's what I'm wondering. Anyway, I can't decide what I'm going to do on Halloween this year. I'm either going to read that book because it's pre-ordered, so it should arrive that day. I'm either going to
I'm going to be at
read
the Barnes
that
Noble
book,
picking it up.
right, or I'm going to be watching Stranger Things season 2.
Yeah,
because that comes out on Halloween.
Yes, it does. It's gonna be a good October.
It is going to be a good October.
And Stranger Things got a crap ton of Emmy nominations today.
Stranger Things is one of the best TV shows I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's great.
It's possibly in my top 5.
Yeah, if you grew up in the 80s like we did, well,
it's
I did.
The perfect show.
Yeah,
I did.
Oh, yeah,
I
right.
did.
Yeah, you did. You're in that group. You're in the Gen X group.
They were. I think they're actually closer in age to me than they are to you.
I think so.
Because this was 82 and they were what? I don't know. They're about as much younger than you as they are older than me.
Well, in 82, I was 13, so they're a little younger.
Right, because I think they were,
but not a lot younger.
Actually, no, they might actually be your age now that I'm thinking about it, because weren't they like 12? Like, weren't they junior high?
Yeah, maybe it's like a couple years difference, if that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's I'm in the ballpark. Let's put it that way.
Right. So yeah, but in 82, I was actually only 6. So yeah, I think they're closer in age to you.
Yeah.
But no, I remember the same things that they did, and I didn't go off on my bike for hours and go spy on people and my parents. Did you see that Saturday Night Live with Lin-Manuel Miranda, where they were talking about I can't think of his name, the one who gets mad at Mike and then says, I don't want to do this anymore.
Dustin?
No, not Dustin. It starts with Jacob. The other one. He's the one that gets really mad at Mike and then splits off from them, but he starts spying on them, and he's the one that tells them that Matthew Modine is coming to get them. That they're at your house. You got to run.
Yeah.
I forget that kid's name. But anyway,
I forget the kid's name too. But
they did a parody. They did a parody of it.
Lucas, was it Lucas?
It might have been Lucas. Yes, I think it might have been. Yeah. I just don't remember.
I think it was Lucas.
But they did a parody of Stranger Things on Saturday Night Live. And
it was great. Yes.
And he was talking about he hasn't been home in days, and his parents haven't even called anybody.
Yeah. Well, that's what it was in the 80s. You could go riding off on your bike and not have to worry about getting kidnapped in a van.
Right, exactly. So
you could just say, "Mom, I'm going on my bike. I'm going to be back in 8 hours." Yeah, exactly. So
your mom's just glad you weren't in the house anymore.
The good old days.
Oh yeah. So anyway, I just that final, I'm not very happy about that. So.
Yeah, it does sound rather ominous, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
All right. So getting back to the episode, let's see here. So we we cut to Deputy Bobby Briggs, Dana Ashbrook, bringing Sheriff Frank Truman and Deputy Chief Hawk, to meet his mom, Betty Briggs.
And then we have a little sort of an X-Files moment.
Yes. Yeah. So apparently, they want to. They're going to ask her about the last time Bobby's father, Major Briggs, spoke with Cooper before he died. In air quotes, because who knows?
And she said, "I knew this day would come." Right. And your father said that one day you, Hawk, and Sheriff Truman, I didn't know which Sheriff Truman,
right,
would come and ask me about Agent Cooper, and when that happens, I'm supposed to give you something. Right. So she walks over to a chair that has a little false back part, opens it up, and pulls out this tube that it's about the size of a cigar case.
Yeah, it's like a cylinder, a little small, maybe about all of 3 inches long, maybe.
Yes,
4,
if you've ever seen an individually wrapped cigar,
right?
It's like that, but kind of a gun. This was like a gunmetal color.
Yeah, and it's thinner than that.
Yes, so. And she tells Bobby that his father knew that he would be at this place in his life, and he never lost faith in you. So it was a nice little emotional.
Yeah, Bobby gets really teary through most of this episode because he keeps thinking about his dad.
Yes.
And obviously we know Bobby from the original series where he's, just all kinds of jerky and,
Very rebellious.
Very rebellious. But Major Briggs thought, hey, you're going to basically had faith in him that he was going to get this out of his system and be like a great man someday.
Well, and Major Briggs.
And he told Bobby this. And Bobby just kind of like, maybe that was the moment that kind of changed his life.
It might have been, or when he decided to go kind of straighter and work for Benjamin Horne, and then he kind of went on from there. But it
definitely made him think differently about his dad.
It definitely did. And Major Briggs was a loving father. He did very much care about Bobby, but he was so formal and military that it was difficult for Bobby to respond to.
Yeah, because Bobby was a rebel, and Briggs being so formal and stolid, and he obviously has his like little secrets with the Air Force.
He knows that there's more to the world than what we see, but at the same time, he is very formal with.
Right.
There's rules, there's regulations, there's protocols, and like even when Laura died, he says, Robert, your mother and I are here for you, and just this very sort of cold manner. Or I think it's time you and I had a conversation, and it's just
the two were totally on different levels.
They're just very, very different people, but Major Briggs was a very loving father.
Yeah, he wasn't cruel to Bobby. He was just just didn't really know how to relate to him. Bobby didn't know how to relate to him either.
True, and the older I get, the more I look at young people who are sort of, I don't want to say pointlessly rebellious,
right?
But sort of rebellious for the sake of being rebellious.
Just contrary by nature.
Contrary for contrary's sake, that kind of thing. Yeah. And, because Bobby isn't exactly rebelling against, abusive parents or people who want him to get in an arranged marriage or anything that's really life-changing for him.
Yeah.
They basically just want him to do okay in school and not break the law, know?
Yeah.
And so, just in that sort of a thing, when you have that whole sort of thing about being rebellious when you have opportunities, I look at young people and I think to myself, this just seems like so much effort to be like this. Well, and I think that's sort of what Major Briggs was like. He's like, I just don't know why this is fun for you to act like this.
Yeah, he just doesn't get it. Again, it's like they're on two totally different wavelengths. And we know that Major Briggs obviously sees the world differently, and has a completely. It's just that his focus is like world encompassing. He sees the big picture,
right?
And which is why he's able to kind of see into the future. He's almost very prescient. And
he's very wise. He's very knowledgeable about. Things in this world and beyond.
Major Briggs he's dialed into the fundamental workings of the universe.
That is a really good quote.
Thank you. Hopefully someone uses that as well.
That's a very eloquent way of describing Major Briggs.
Thank you. But he's just really dialed in, and of course that causes that conflict because Bobby just doesn't get it. And Major Briggs doesn't get Bobby, but I think now, like if Major Briggs was still around, I think he and Bobby would really get along.
Oh, they'd be fishing every weekend.
Yeah, and Bobby, because now that Bobby's he's working with the Twin Peaks Sheriff's Department, he's got his act together, he's on the straight and narrow, he's not dealing drugs as far as we know. So
I'm still convinced that's Chad.
Has to be Chad.
Chad, who I don't want to talk too much about Chad this episode, but he eats like a pig.
Yeah, well, we could talk really quickly about the scene where Lucy and Chad are having lunch.
Eat your lunch in the lunchroom, Chad.
Yeah. Take your lunch to the lunchroom, and Chad is all whiny and is like, well, you guys eat donuts and coffee in here.
But I understand it'll never happen again. And then he takes forever to get his
Well,
crap together.
he's trying to get his crap together, and then like his hands are full, so he can't open the door. So he's like, looks at Hawk, going, "Little help."
Little help,
Yeah,
Chad.
and Hawk is just like, "You loser."
Hate use the ladies' room, Chad.
Yeah, exactly.
I hate Chad so much.
Well, you're supposed to, I think.
I know.
But
He eats like a pig.
and Lucy, I thought was hilarious because Lucy is the coworker. See, I work in an office, so I see this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So she's just like, "I'm on my lunch break, Sheriff Truman."
I'm not here.
And then she holds up her hand like, "Don't bother me. I'm on my lunch.
Like
I've got my sandwich. Just don't even.
And you gotta love that too about a small town. Like you think that, things stop for lunch in the police department. If something happens.
Well, apparently for Lucy it does.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, nothing.
What if somebody called in? Would like Andy have to come get the phone or something?
Seriously, Andy would have to come get it and say, "No, Lucy's eating a sandwich."
Right.
So.
And then describe the sandwich for you, probably. All right.
So they go back to the conference room with this little cylinder that they've.
Right. And Bobby's all like, kind of laughing as Truman is and Hawk are trying to open this thing. And
he's like, I know exactly how to open that.
Yeah. My
dad go back outside.
Like my dad used to give me one of these as a kid.
Yeah.
And so they go back outside. He throws the cylinder on the concrete. It goes ding and flies into the grass or whatever. He runs and grabs it, listens for a tone.
It's like a tuning fork.
Exactly. And apparently that's when it's able to be opened. So he lets Sheriff Truman and Hawk listen, and Hawk's like, "Whoa, what the hell?" And then he throws it again, goes chasing after it. Here you go. It's open.
Little pieces of rolled up paper inside with some triangles we've seen before.
And some Bazooka Joe comics.
That's
That's that kind of paper. Just like real small pieces of paper.
Right, little tiny pieces of
but
vellum. It almost looked like vellum.
Yeah, these little tiny scrolls. And we find out that apparently there's these directions about what to do before leaving a place called Jack Rabbit's Palace.
Bobby knows where that is.
Where that is. Apparently it's where he and his dad used to hang out when they were little, or when he was little, and they used to make up stories.
Their secret kingdom.
Yeah, exactly. So apparently this has very strong significance.
So Major Briggs is a loving and sentimental father.
And apparently the directions say to go 253 yards east of Jack Rabbit's Palace, 253.
Mm-hmm.
Which go back to the where the arm mentioned in part 2. That was like, where he says time and time again, if you remember that.
I'm not remembering those numbers.
Okay, so, apparently 253 is a big deal, because that's also, it's written as a time as well. So I don't know if this is like 2:53 in the morning, like AM, that apparently and I'm guessing this is the gateway to the Black Lodge is open.
I'm starting to think we're getting more and more close to coordinates.
Could be. Now, there's 2 dates, which are October 1st and October 2nd.
Which is my anniversary, by the way.
Oh, really? Happy anniversary.
October 2nd.
So there's another...
I know, David Lynch knows when we're married.
He's listening to the podcast, probably.
Yeah, that's what he's doing.
All right. And he's working these things in. They're just like writing furiously. Okay, we got to get this in. So we got alcove markings, 2 triangles side by side.
Mm-hmm. Seen those before.
A full red moon, a crescent red moon, and this really interesting shape of what kind of looks like the head of that creature that we think is Mother. That was on the card that Doppelganger Cooper showed Darla, saying, "This is what I want."
Yeah, that's right.
So apparently, maybe Doppelganger Cooper's after Mother.
Well,
And,
I mean, finding Mother would mean finding what he
right.
needs, where he needs to be.
And apparently, this is how you're able to do it.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, so is your brain hurting yet?
My brain is my brain is trying to be patient.
Yeah.
Is what's going on. I am so excited for things to explain themselves.
I think I'm high!
I am not.
Your foot.
Your foot.
Yes. Now, how freaky was that? So we might as well talk about that because, Jerry, lost in the woods still.
It's been there for like 3 weeks now.
It's like, what the hell is he on? That he seems like he's still stoned.
Oh
and he's got his foot talking to him, telling him, "I'm not your foot."
I am not your foot.
And it sounds like little kid voice, And he's completely freaked out. He's like totally afraid of his foot now. And he's
he backs away.
Yeah, he keeps looking at it and then he dives for this foot, yanks it up so he flips. He falls back and maybe knocks himself out.
I think I'm high.
So funny. It's just
Jerry is fantastic. Jerry's fantastic comic relief in this, and I have a feeling that he's going to get stuck out there when everything opens up. when it's time for the Black Lodge to open again, I think
he'll just be at the wrong place at the wrong time.
I think so. I think he's just going to be out in the woods, testing the merchandise.
I think it would be hilarious if, like, the show ended at episode 18, and they have the credits, and then, like, in a post-credit sequence, we see Jerry still walking around the woods.
That would be awesome.
Like everybody completely forgot about him.
He's just been out there for months.
How great would that be?
That would be so great. I would love that.
Maybe he's wandering the woods, and then all of a sudden,
he finds Dr. Jacoby.
Dr. Jacoby, yes, that would be it.
I need one of your shovels.
Yeah,
I have to kill my foot because it's not my foot.
And he goes, "Dr. Amp, you found me."
Oh God, you found me, Dr. Amp.
Hilarious. We had. I have no idea what purpose that was, but it was funny as hell.
Oh, it was great.
I laughed hard at that. Okay, so let's see. We got that. Now we kind of catch back up with Gordon Cole and his group, Team Cole, as they go out to Buckhorn to investigate the body.
I don't like your language at all, Charles. Oh, you said Buckhorn.
Yeah, Buckhorn.
Just a little aside here. In Columbus, Ohio, we have a bar here called the Ruckmore.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't call it that.
I wouldn't think so.
No, we don't call it that.
No.
It's an amazing bar. It opens at like 6 a.m. or something like that. So if you really need something to drink before work, the Ruckmore's got you covered.
This is why I call myself Charles and not Chuck. Just saying.
I can understand that because, I'll bet when you were a kid, though, the name game was hilarious. That was probably the funniest song you'd ever heard.
Yeah. For like all of 2 seconds, and then
when it's your name,
when you're doing it, it's fine.
Yeah.
But when other kids are doing it,
right? When other kids figure out what Chuck rhymes with, then it's nowhere near as fun.
Not that I'm traumatized or anything. I want to go scuba diving.
I want to go scuba diving. We were gonna sit in the sand.
Fruitcake, anyone?
Fruitcake.
Yeah.
So okay.
So they go. Diane doesn't want to go into the morgue. She's like, I don't feel like seeing a dead body right now. I'm good.
So she sits in the waiting room.
So now she can check her phone.
In the waiting room.
Shall
we?
Yeah.
I would like to remind us that that's even
Gordon said that. Yeah.
Gordon Cole says it out loud. The waiting room. We're like, we know we're watching Twin Peaks.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for spelling it out for us, Gordon.
Yes. So she's in the waiting room, and a couple of things happen in the waiting room that I noticed.
Yes.
Well, first of all, here's one thing that everybody noticed. She gets a text message.
Yep.
What does the text message say, Charles?
Oh, nothing big. Around the dinner table, the conversation is lively.
What the hell?
So at this point, my mind goes.
So is she, okay? Have you read?
So Diane is working with Doppelganger Cooper?
I don't know. That's the thing I don't understand. Okay, have you ever read Girl with the Dragon Tattoo?
Yes, and I've actually, I've watched both the Swedish version and I have the American version.
So, okay.
Which is great because it's David Fincher. And
it is David Fincher, yes.
Yeah.
It's actually, the reason it's so great
yeah.
is because Daniel Craig's in his underwear, like, a lot in that movie. Yeah. So, that's worth it.
But I also
right
like the Rumi Napace Swedish version.
Oh, yeah, but that one doesn't have Daniel Craig in his underwear.
No, I don't really care about Daniel Craig in his underwear.
So, I don't know what kind of movies you like, but... So, okay, here's the thing.
Non-Daniel Craig in underwear movies.
Oh, those are the best.
Yeah.
So anyway, in Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, spoiler alert, don't get on my case about this because this is a really old book.
Yeah.
Someone has been sending this character flowers once a year on the birth date of his niece who has gone missing.
Right.
And he thinks somebody's trying to drive him insane. But it's actually the niece trying to say, I'm okay, I'm just in hiding, don't worry about me.
Right.
So that's what this sort of reminded me of. Does she think these are from Cooper, and he's just messing with her, and that's why she's a drunk?
I don't think so.
I don't know what the heck's going on.
I think something really dark and ominous happened when Doppelganger Cooper, and I'm thinking it's Doppelganger Cooper, went to see her that night.
This gives a lot more credence to your theory of
I know.
The night he left was a different night than I was thinking it was.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, it was Doppelganger Cooper that saw her that night.
Oh my gosh.
Now the question is...
the question is, what the hell, Charles?
Well, that question is, what the hell? Now, is something inside Diane?
See, now that's another thing I was wondering.
Because remember because what happened to Doppelganger Laura?
See, Doppelganger Laura became a cokehead whore. You know?
Yeah. But she was there in the lodge, and then suddenly we never see Doppelganger Laura during the return.
Oh my God! Do you think that she's Laura?
I'm thinking she's Doppelganger Laura, but I don't know.
Interesting concept.
Like Doppelganger Cooper and Doppelganger Laura working together, but.
This can't be good.
Then this is just my theory, so maybe I'm reading too much into this. Probably am, but Doppelganger Cooper shows up, meets Diane. Diane thinks it's really Cooper, real Cooper. Doppelganger Cooper does something, and that allows Doppelganger Laura to enter Diane's body.
Maybe that's why we're not being very specific as to who the night you left. Maybe that's why we're not being so specific. I'll bet you the FBI is thinking the exact same thing I was thinking.
Yeah.
Ooh, the plot thickens.
And that maybe because here's why I'm thinking this. What color is Diane's hair?
Platinum blonde.
Or white?
Diane's hair went completely white.
Thank you. Yes. Leland's hair went completely white. So is Diane possessed? That's my theory.
I see. Okay, and this is because I know Laura Dern is blonde,
and this is why she's drinking. That's why she's drinking heavily. Is because part of her is in trying to deny that something else is inside her.
Oh my goodness gracious!
Like Leland. Remember, Leland was all, all emotionally disturbed and everything.
She's not singing though.
No, she's not singing, but it doesn't have to
But
be because if it's
doesn't have to be singing. No,
because if it's a different doppelganger, like doppelganger Laura, as my theory.
See, I never even put that together because I'm thinking, okay, this is Laura Dern. This is Laura Dern in her 50s. She could very much have that same color hair.
I agree, and I think that's that makes sense, but it does look very white, doesn't it?
Diane's hair went completely
white. Yes.
Ah.
Did I just blow your mind?
You've given me something to think about for sure. Like I said, sometimes, I approach David Lynch with the watch and remember thing,
right?
But I need to stop thinking about the actors and thinking more about the characters.
That's why I think because as a writer, that's what I do. I don't think about the actors. I think about the characters and their motivations and past things that play out later, because we know that they're going back. Mark Frost and David Lynch are going back and getting really obscure tidbits of trivia and making them relevant in the new series.
That's very true. And I'm just, there's so much of a jumble. There's things I'm not noticing.
Yeah. Doesn't mean
it's so nice to have
because this is so pure.
This
is like total fanfic at this point, this series. That is just indulging the super fans.
Well, it's not fan fiction, it's fan oriented.
Well, yeah. I mean, but you get what I'm saying is that
I know exactly
it's
what you're
catering
saying.
to the fans.
This is for and that's an interesting way of making television,
right.
Where you know who you're making it for.
Yeah.
You're not trying to get an audience. You have an audience. You have people who have been waiting for this for a very long time.
Right. So you don't have, so you can explore these really minute things,
and you can cater to them.
Yes. And they're like, oh, and then they go on podcasts and they talk about it ad infinitum.
That's true. And then they
get quoted on Twitter because what they say is so profound.
Oh, I love the internet sometimes. Sometimes I hate it, but sometimes
very
I love
few.
It.
Yeah, it's very few, but every so often it kind of rewards you.
Every so often we find people like us.
Yes, exactly, and people like you out there. Our listeners. But,
okay.
So now, yeah. So
okay, white hair. We got white hair.
Right.
Now I've got another question for you.
Okay, all right, hit me.
Who did the red shoes remind Cooper of?
Well, that would be
Diane?
Audrey. That would be Audrey.
Was it Audrey or was it Diane?
I would think it was Audrey.
Do you notice Diane's red shoes?
I did notice Diane's red shoes. The big, pointy things.
Yeah.
Dude, Laura Dern's got some big-ass feet. Just saying.
Don't let those shoes are ridiculous.
They are. They make your foot. Yeah, they make your feet look like clown feet practically.
Yeah, well, they come to a point.
Yeah.
And then in order for the point not to have bulges on the side,
right.
It's like your foot ends here, and then the point is more gradual.
Yeah.
So yeah, those shoes look 4 inches longer than they actually are.
I know. I don't know how women don't trip over those things when they walk. When they're that pointy.
You get used to it, but it's not a pleasant process.
I would have to take your word on that because yeah.
So
that's not exactly in my skill set.
It takes a lot to try and wear shoes like that sometimes. But yeah, so that was the thing is like I was thinking when I first saw those red heels and those
Cooper's
legs.
Thinking of Diane. That's possible. I will give you that one. I think that's a good theory. I like that theory.
Because I first saw the legs in the red shoes, and it was very much Audrey with the same kind of skirt putting on red shoes at school.
So maybe that's why maybe Cooper saw Audrey wearing the red shoes, and it made him think of Diane.
See, I don't know, or has Diane always been wearing? I don't know who the red shoes are for now. Like I thought it was Audrey, and then I saw Diane's red shoes, and I was like, wait a second.
They're from Dorothy from Kansas.
That's the thing, or are they Dorothy and Ozma of Oz? Well, in those books they're silver, so that would just be Dorothy from the movie.
We just went down an L. Frank Baum rabbit hole.
Let's not go down that rabbit hole because that's like 77 books?
Exactly. Something like that.
What has more books, the Oz series or the Xanth series.
The Shannara Chronicles.
Oh, okay, yes, that would be it.
You're welcome.
Possibly second only. A second runner-up would be Redwall.
Yeah. But I have to think of Shannara Chronicles. It has to be up there. So okay. So what I'm wondering is that did Doppelganger Cooper, maybe figuring that Gordon Cole would reach out to Diane, tip her off, say, okay, you insert yourself with a group, act like you don't want to be there, and keep me posted on what Gordon's up to. Like Diane's a mole for Doppelganger Cooper.
And William Hastings has the coordinates.
Yes. So that, follow Gordon, he'll lead me to Bill Hastings.
That was very fascinating.
Yes, it was. So yeah.
They're calling it the zone, but I'm assuming they mean the lodge.
Right. Oh, I'm sure it is. Yes, yeah.
And they see the major, and he's been in suspended animation.
Yeah. So we should probably get into that.
And then his head floats away.
Yeah.
So his head floats away.
Right.
Around the same time that Cooper gets out of the lodge and sees his head in space.
Yeah. Coincidence? I think not.
Not in a David Lynch program. No.
So, we Tammy's interviewing Hastings, who hasn't showed up since part 2.
Right.
And we find out that he had this blog, and it's like a very GeoCities style blog. If you remember GeoCities.
I remember GeoCities very well.
Like back to the 90s.
Oh my gosh. Alt.nerd.obsessive.
VH1's I love the 90s. But so apparently Hastings and Ruth Davenport somehow bonded over the fact that, hey, we're really into alternate dimensions.
Right.
Maybe they're both sci-fi geeks.
Well, she was the librarian, and he reads a lot about that kind of thing. So They probably met up over that.
Right.
That common interest, and then they fell in love over it.
Probably. So they create this blog of the Search for the Zone, which actually exists now. And I posted the link on our Ghostwood, the Twin Peaks Podcast Facebook page.
I love it when TV shows do that.
Yeah.
When they talk about a website and then somebody makes a fake website for that website.
Well, it's stealth marketing for the soundtracks, for the Rhino Record soundtracks. But
oh, nice.
But there's a bunch of links to really philosophical and scientific articles. So somebody went the extra mile setting this up.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's a lot of relevant links on this.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to dive through it too much, but
right. And
I do love when they do that.
And one of the really interesting things is that people have found, I didn't find it, but I read that this happened, and I checked it out. If you scroll down the page to the bottom, there's a hidden set of coordinates that you can find by highlighting the bottom.
Oh.
I copied and pasted those into Google.
Uh-huh. Where'd it take you?
It takes me to West South Dakota.
We're over East South Dakota.
I know, but we go to West South Dakota, and it's a place near this place called Lookout Mountain.
Lookout Mountain?
Yeah, I don't know what the relevance is, but maybe that's the coordinates. So, pretty interesting stuff.
That is interesting stuff.
So, yeah. So, apparently that's where whatever Doppelganger Cooper is trying to find is, presumably. It's in West South Dakota. I want him to
find it.
Yeah. So, in this scene, so Hastings is totally breaking down. He's just blubbering through the whole thing.
He's finally sort of realizing that this is real. I mean, he initially thought that he had dreamt this, but...
Yeah, he's all like, but it's real. It's all real.
Come on. It's all real. I wouldn't have killed her. I loved her.
Come on, Scoob.
Oh.
Zoinks.
Because these days, baby, you gotta have a sequel.
Yeah.
Charles
I do the Scooby-Doo reset, and you do the Scream reset. Very nice.
Charles and I have our own different Matthew Lillard associations.
Right. Exactly. Well, I like Scream too, so I can respect that.
Yes.
So, he was a good Shaggy, though.
Scream completely rekindled my love of horror. I had sort of left it behind and forgotten it.
Well, it came at a good time because, like, horror movies had kind of lost their thrill, and it was like a really fresh take.
It was a really fresh take, and it knew it was conscious of itself, and it wasn't torture porn, which is how horror seems to be going these days.
Yeah. And like thank you, Saw movies.
Yeah, thanks, Saw. But so yeah, it rekindled my love of horror.
It's either shaky cam horror or torture porn.
And then some of the in between stuff is the best horror I've ever seen.
Yeah,
it's just good. So I know this is not a horror movie podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
If you haven't seen Get Out yet, see it. It's the best movie of the year, hands down.
There you go. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
So see, you find out about silent movies, and now you find out about horror movies right here. All right. So, Hastings says, they met the Major, he and Ruth. He asked them for important numbers,
and
they found it within a secured military database. Not sure how that happened.
Not sure how that happened either, but librarian.
Yeah.
Librarians are cybrarians.
Maybe she's got like Oracle hacker skills.
That's what I'm thinking. I mean, librarians these days have a lot of computer knowledge because that's where everything is now. It's not like when we were kids and all you had to do was know how to type on an index card.
Well, that's why they call it library science.
That's true.
Just saying. So I have a friend who's a librarian. So
I have a couple librarian friends.
Yeah, she works at the Columbus Metropolitan Library. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I have connections to the library.
I have a friend who was at the Columbus Library for a while.
Yep. Not anymore, presumably.
I don't believe so. No, I think she's at a different place, but I'm not sure. I don't remember where.
Okay. So
I should reach out and ask her. Julie, I'm going to give you a call.
There you go. Julie, I hope you're listening to the podcast because Zan's going to give you a call.
Yep.
All right. So Bill says these others came in.
There were so many people. I don't know.
Yeah, and they grabbed me by the neck, he says, and they pushed me down and said, "What's your wife's name? What's your wife's name?" Now, were these the woodsmen, perhaps?
I was thinking that's exactly who this was.
Okay.
And I wonder what they look these days now that it's not the 40s.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe. Well, I don't think they've updated their look. They're ghosts, right? So they probably look exactly the same.
Didn't you see the Frighteners?
The Michael J. Fox one?
Yeah.
No, I didn't see that one.
His two ghost familiars, they totally get new clothes at the end of the movie.
Okay.
So.
I think like Beetlejuice ghosts where they don't get new clothes. They're stuck with
They're stuck with whatever they died in.
Yeah, exactly. that's what I'm thinking. But
that's why you should always wear comfortable clothes.
Exactly, because you never know when you die. That's what you're stuck with. You might as well like it.
I don't know what her problem is.
Yeah, exactly. That's funny. So let's see here. So they give the Major the numbers. He starts to float up. So who does that make you think of? The giant floating up.
Yep.
In part 8. He said some words, Cooper, Cooper, right before his head disappeared. And then Bill supposedly woke up in his own home, and the next thing he knew, he was accused of murder.
Yep. So that's why he thought it was a dream, but now he's realizing it actually happened.
Yeah. And it's freaking him the hell out.
He's freaking the hell out. And Tammy gives him a mugshot lineup photo.
Yep.
Says which one's the Major, and he points to a photo of Don Davis. Right. So he points to Major Briggs. She says, "Circle it and initial it." And he just keeps freaking out and talking about how he and Ruth were in love and they were going to go away together.
I loved her. We were going to go to the Bahamas.
Yes.
We were going to scuba dive and mix drinks on the beach. And we were going to soak up the sun and look at beautiful sunsets. Wah. And you get Chad over in the corner going, cry baby.
Yeah, well, no, it's Albert. It's not Chad.
Well, that's true. I know, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
So
Hey,
yeah,
Chad.
Albert has
Speaking of Albert.
Albert has a great line though, because he just like he's looking over at like Tammy or something, and he says, fruitcake, anyone?
Fruitcake, anyone?
Yeah.
Albert in this episode, I think, was very, very funny. When the police officer is explaining, okay, here's what's going on. Okay, first of all, we find the principal has been having an affair with the librarian, and then he was arrested for killing her, and we found her head on your Major Briggs, and then his wife was killed, presumably by their lawyer, who is also now in custody. And then Albert just says, "What happens in season 2?"
That was hilarious. I died at that.
I was like, that's so great.
And then, of course, then you got Gordon who chimes in, who says
apologies for Albert in advance.
Yeah, apologies in advance for Albert. Yeah. Too
So
funny.
then he goes into the morgue with the medical examiner
and he flirts with the medical examiner.
Albert finally meets a small-town medical examiner he actually likes.
We got to get these crazy kids together.
I want them to get together so bad. So he's sort of looking at it, and he's talking about.
He's laughing at her jokes.
Well, and he's making jokes about the principal, blah blah blah, and she's like, not to mention the 6th grade marble champion.
Yep.
And he's just being sarcastic. He says, "Well, when did he lose his marbles?" "When the dog ate the cat's eyes." And then you see Albert think about that for a second.
He's
and he smiles.
I think he gets he gives respect. He's like, "Yep, I dig you. I like you. You I like.
You I like." And he's like, "This is the body of a man in his 40s."
Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, she knows exactly that it all sounds ludicrous, but
she's not fazed by it.
She's not fazed by it, and she knows she's good at her job. It's not like when Albert walks into Twin Peaks and says, "Welcome to amateur hour."
Exactly.
So
there's actual respect from Albert.
Right. Albert actually likes this woman. And that's the thing, you can't really blame Dr. Hayward. I mean, he's not a medical examiner. He's just like the town's only doctor.
He's the small town doctor, for crying out loud.
He's like all they've got. So, if he's not perfect, it's not surprising.
Well, Albert was like an elitist snob back then, almost.
He was. He's still kind of a jerk, but he's a little more...
he's a little more mellow these days.
He's a little more curmudgeonly than he is...
Yeah. See, that's what I want to be when I get
egotistical.
older. I want to be a curmudgeon. I'm aspiring curmudgeon.
Oh, that's good. You want to come over and take lessons from my dad? He's pretty good at that, and I think he has openings fall quarter.
Well, see, I'm kind of thinking like a Dr. McCoy from Star Trek kind of curmudgeon.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, that's the way I want to be. I want to grow up to be Dr. Leonard Bones McCoy.
So you're sort of curmudgeonly, but at the same time you're nostalgic and caring.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, I'll give you that.
That's the way I want to age.
I like that.
Yeah, that's my goal. That's my life goal. All right. So, okay. So we had that. Then we cut to Ben Horn and Beverly, who are still trying to find the source of that mesmerizing noise.
Does it have anything to do with Jack Rabbit's palace?
Possibly.
That's what I'm just wondering.
But
because
Ben describes it like the ring of a monastery bell.
Right.
So it's so is it like a frequency that will open something?
I can't figure it out, but in this episode we had 2 things that were sound related.
I was still hoping that Josie's in the wall somewhere. I'm hoping Josie's in the walls.
That would be incredible. I haven't seen her in a long time.
I haven't either, so I don't know. She was on Fringe not too long ago.
Oh, was she?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because Fringe loved Twin Peaks. They used to do references all the time. They made a direct compare. I've got an article about this on Damn Good Coffee where they directly linked John Noble's character to Dr. Lawrence Jacoby.
Oh, I can totally see that.
Yeah. So yeah, check it out. So it's like how Fringe and Twin Peaks have the same shared universe.
So is there something about... I'm wondering if those two sounds are connected.
Well, remember, listen to the sounds.
Listen to the sounds.
They're important, apparently. So Ben and Beverly's about ready to lay one on Ben.
He can't do this, and he doesn't know why.
Yeah, he doesn't know why. So I guess the good Ben's still in charge.
That was my thought. I think Ben is still a good man.
Yep, so you're kind of happy about that, aren't you?
I am.
I'm
very, very happy.
He redeemed himself.
Well, the thing is...
even though he smokes cigars, but...
Even though he smokes cigars... I'm sorry. I think the stress of having your daughter in an explosion would probably drive anybody to go back to their bad habits.
Not to mention Jerry.
At least he's just smoking cigars, I mean, he could be testing the family business product,
Attacking his feet.
Jerry. Think I'm high.
I think I'm high. I gotta play that again.
Yes, play it again, please.
Just because. I think I'm high! That's like my favorite soundbite right now, if you couldn't tell.
I need to get that and then make that your text tone for my phone, so whenever you text me, it'll say that.
Or do you want the fail noise?
Oh, no.
Because you love the fail noise.
I love the fail noise, but I think that would be more for like...
Yeah.
If...
Couldn't this be my ringtone? Hello! or...
That's a pretty good one, too. Yeah.
But
I think I'm high!
That's still... I think I'm high! It's pretty funny.
He's just so perfect.
I can't imagine your phone going off at that moment. Somebody's
I know, wouldn't that be great?
You hear Jerry, like you're in a restaurant or something, and then Jerry belts out, "I think I'm high."
Hi. Well, I like to have different text tones for different people, so I know exactly who's texting me. So
yeah. Well, I guess I can't remember if you have access to our Dropbox because I could put it there, but.
I think I do. Well, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we can talk about that after. You guys don't care about this because you're like, you guys have gone on long
enough. Like, whatever.
Yeah, shut up already. So, last scene this episode, we go to the Roadhouse, as you might expect.
Mm-hmm.
We get 2 new characters out of nowhere.
And what is there?
Something
characters.
Something really weird about these characters. So,
I think these characters are supposed to remind us that there's still a really big drug problem in Twin Peaks.
Apparently. So we're introduced to this girl, Ella, who's played by Sky Ferreira. She's got a rash on her left armpit.
Oh my goodness, it needs something. It looks like shingles.
Yeah, something's going on there. It looks really painful. And she's all itching at it. And her teeth, if you notice, haven't been brushed in 5 years.
Both of those girls have meth teeth, for sure.
Yeah, apparently. So, but they sit down, they start talking, her and her friend Chloe, and Chloe says stuff like, "That zebra's out again." So does that have anything to do with the Black Lodge floor having a zebra pattern?
I don't know, because I've also heard zebra as a racially insensitive term.
That could be, for mixed race people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know, that could be too. I was thinking about that. And Ella talks about that she was fired for coming in high.
Mm-hmm.
She should hook up with Jerry.
Well, that's the thing. If the horns are growing weed, then it's probably Twin Peaks is full of those.
Yep.
Those of you in the Pacific Northwest know what I'm talking about when you have there'll be times where you're driving along a street that would look just like Morse Road here in Columbus.
Right.
But every other building has the green cross on it for being the medical marijuana place. So it's I have a feeling that there are parts of Twin Peaks that are like those check cashing places.
Yeah.
And those green crosses.
That's funny. And
then maybe a Revel wireless store.
And a Taco Bell nearby.
Yeah, exactly. Or a Taco Bell.
Because when you get the Mad Munchies.
Or one of those, like, KFCs that's also a Pizza Hut.
Although in Columbus, it'd probably be a White Castle.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, just down the street from me is the White Castle right next door to a Taco Bell.
Right. So a little Columbus humor for you guys.
And it's like right across the street from a bunch of bars. So I think those places are gold mines.
Yeah. So Ella was fired for coming in high, even though apparently all she was doing was serving up burgers.
Where was she fired from? I wonder. Did like Norma fire her?
That's what I'm kind of wondering.
Yeah.
But maybe she worked at the Double R. Who knows? But apparently she's working across the street serving up burgers.
She did the work.
Yeah. So apparently she went to work for the competition, and then they have a good laugh about that penguin.
The penguin.
Yeah. Whatever the hell that means.
Well, it's Oswald Cobblepot, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. A plan is forming.
Yeah, I was wondering about that too.
Mayor Cobblepots.
Let's make a mayor.
Yeah.
Well, at least my nose isn't gushing blood.
Little side note, Batman Returns was the very first movie Lori and I saw together.
Aw.
That was the week we actually met.
That's interesting.
So
I like that.
So Batman Returns is kind of our movie.
That's kind of cool.
And then the second movie we saw together, Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me.
Whoa, now that you guys are going to last forever. That's for sure.
Yeah, well, that kind of like blew Lori's mind when I was just like, I want to go see this. You want to come along?
She's like, okay. And then she's sitting there like,
yeah,
what
the hell?
But, oh my God, how do we get out of this movie?
Yeah, somehow I'm married to her, so go figure.
Well, that's the thing. I mean,
that's true love right there. I
think. That is absolutely true love. Yeah, Chris and I, the first movie we saw together was Shadow of the Vampire.
Nice.
Which, is a movie about a silent movie.
Yeah, exactly. The Nosferatu.
Yeah.
That's one we forgot to talk about, the silent movie chat. But that was great.
So anyway, yeah. So
cool. So we had that, and then of course
who's the penguin?
Good question.
Is it somebody who's just like waddly,
or is it like a nun, like in Blues Brothers?
Is it a nun like in Blues Brothers, or is it like another racial slur that I've never heard before?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is it two penguins walking on an iceberg?
Is it Opus the Penguin?
Opus, but Joe, do you remember that joke from the original series?
No, I don't.
That's my favorite joke.
What's your joke? Okay.
Two penguins are walking on an iceberg.
Oh, Dale Cooper's joke to Annie.
One penguin says to the second penguin, "You look like you're wearing a tuxedo." And the second penguin says,
Annie's joke to Cooper, yeah.
Maybe I am. No, Cooper says it to Annie.
Oh, does Cooper say it? I thought Annie
Cooper says it to Annie.
Okay.
Coop, you just tried to tell her a joke.
Right.
Maybe I am. I don't know why I love that so much, but that joke is so funny.
Just because you like Kyle MacLachlan, he's so dreamy.
He is dreamy, but yeah. I don't. Full disclosure.
Yeah.
Kyle MacLachlan on my notebook in high school.
Well, at least you're honest about it.
Full disclosure again.
Yep.
Saw Showgirls in the theater. For
Kyle MacLachlan.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was the only person in that theater watching that movie for Kyle MacLachlan.
Well, I think didn't Showgirls have maybe $332 in box office?
Something like that.
I can't remember, but it was a bomb. I know that.
Well, I personally, I like comeuppance stories.
Yeah.
So Showgirls has a soft spot in my heart.
Okay.
Because have you seen Showgirls?
I have seen Showgirls, yes.
Where she beats up that rapist that looks like Michael Bolton.
Uh-huh.
Nothing against Michael Bolton. Michael Bolton is not a racist. Not a rapist.
Or a racist, as far as we know.
Yeah, I've never heard him say anything bad about anybody. But
I'm sure he's a lovely fellow.
Yeah, I never was a big fan of his music, but ever since he started working with The Lonely Island, I absolutely love Michael Bolton now. But just as a person, I don't particularly care for his music. But
right.
But yeah, when her friend gets raped by that one guy and she goes in and just beats the living hell out of him, I was like, this is the greatest thing ever. So if Showgirls is like on TV, I'll be like, wait a minute, she's gonna beat up this guy, and then I'll stop watching.
Okay, got it. But you have to watch that part.
I have to watch that part. Yes.
Okay.
The same way when Pretty Woman is on, you have to watch her go back to the boutique and tell the women that they made a big mistake by not selling her anything. You know, comeuppance. Exactly. I love comeuppance stories.
Yeah.
So anyway,
yeah.
Kyle MacLachlan, yes, he's dreamy, but I love stupid jokes. Like jokes little kids tell.
Corny jokes. Yeah.
Corny jokes I love. I think those are fantastic.
Like Doc Hayward's joke about, where he recycles the Groucho Marx.
The Groucho Marx joke. Yeah, those kinds of things where
about shooting his, like he caught fish in his pajamas. How he got in his pajamas.
How the fish got in his pajamas, he'll never know. Right, exactly. So there are just little, like, oh gosh, I can't remember what it was, but I heard one on Night Vale the other day, and for those of you who like Twin Peaks, I would suggest listening to Welcome to Night Vale if you are not already. But I just love corny jokes, so I love that joke. So
that's awesome.
So I don't know. But yeah, the penguin and the zebra, I do not know who those could possibly be.
Well, like I said, new characters. Like, we need new characters at this point. We have only 9 episodes to go. We're at the halfway point. And we're getting more characters.
We're getting more people.
And we still haven't seen Audrey. So come on.
We need to see Audrey. If I don't see Audrey pretty soon, I'm going to lose my mind a little bit more.
It's on. It's on like Donkey Kong. All right. So we got a couple of musical performances. This like techno-y thing, or like electronic thing by Human by Hudson Mohawk.
Mm-hmm.
And then the return of Au Revoir Simone.
Au Revoir Simone came back, yes.
Yeah, so they get a second appearance, playing A Violent Yet Flammable World.
Mm-hmm.
So we had that. Anything else about this episode you want to talk about that I'm missing?
Is there anything that we have not mentioned?
I think we were pretty thorough
I think we were pretty thorough with this one. I don't think we missed anything. Well, the only thing I want to say about Doppelganger Cooper is when he lifted up his shirt to show Chantal the wound.
Yeah.
It looked really, really bad and infected.
Uh-huh.
So I'm hoping it keeps going.
But that's Cooper's real body. We don't want his body to die. We just want
Doppelganger. Have Duffy's body back. I mean, he can. But
we want Cooper to get his real body back.
I guess, but I just want whatever's going to kill Doppelganger Cooper to do it.
Although God only knows what Doppelganger Cooper's done to that body over the past 25 years.
Yeah, does he even want that body? I mean,
that thing
maybe he should just full of hepatitis.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah. Yeah.
Yikes.
If you've seen any of those like hillbilly crew that he was hanging with, who knows?
Yeah. There's got to be some sort of chicken infection going on in him or something. I don't know.
Not to mention all the clogged arteries from the Cheetos.
Yeah.
Right?
Seriously.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what's your rating for this one?
My rating for this one is 8 out of 10 beige chairs.
Okay.
And losing 2 points for Doppelganger Cooper still being alive.
You've got it in for him.
I want Cooper to be okay so bad. That's all I want.
You and everybody else at this point.
I know. And then, have you been seeing Kyle MacLachlan's tweets?
No.
People keep asking. He's like, well, it explains itself. I mean, he's like not answering any questions.
Right. Well, he can't.
Yeah. So,
my current theory about that. Episode 12 is called "Let's Rock."
Oh.
So I'm hoping
we don't have that much longer to wait.
I'm thinking that would be a great line by Cooper to say when he comes back. That would be his first words as Cooper.
Oh man.
Let's rock.
David Lynch, I have a favor.
Yeah. But don't you think that would be good? That'd be good first words.
Please don't play Bad to the Bone after that. If that happens. Bad enough in the Terminator. I really don't need you to do it either.
Bad. Yeah. All right.
But yes, I would
Well,
love.
at least it wasn't one Scotch, one bourbon,
one beer.
one
Yeah,
beer. Yeah.
I would love to hear Cooper say that if that's what that is going to be. That would be.
I think that would be a good first line.
I'll be so excited.
So I'm thinking episode 12. It better be by episode 12 because we're only gonna have 6 more after that.
Give me something, please.
Yeah, but throw us a bone already. Jeez.
There was a freaking bone here.
There's a freaking bone.
Info.
Yeah.
We're the audience. We need the info. we've been asleep for 25 years.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Wake up. Don't die.
Wake up. Don't die, you idiot.
All right. So before we get into our closing shenanigans.
What's your rating?
Oh, you have my rating. 8.5 talking feet.
This is not your foot.
I am not your foot. I don't know why that makes me laugh, but it does.
Oh, Jerry, it's like Jerry was just so gross and
Jerry's reaction, just freaking out over this thing. I think it's what sells it.
He's doing such a good job. Oh my gosh, yeah. He's been so great. It's like usually when I saw Jerry, I would be like, oh God, he's so gross and horrible.
But see, that was in the original series. Now he's completely different. Now he's just like old stoner.
He's just old stoner, mellow guy. I love it.
Yeah, and it's great. So he kind of did a different turn.
Yes, I love the character.
Bobby.
I love the job he's done portraying him too.
Yeah, it's great. So real quick, I'm gonna we got some feedback on our Facebook page.
Oh, we did. Okay,
we did. So by Ivan Ivanov, regular visitor, and he writes in. He says, "Hi guys, greetings from Bulgaria."
Hey, greetings.
So we're reaching Bulgaria.
All right,
which is awesome. Got a fan in there. All right. I'd like to do a little speculation on Charles's theory on that frog Laura thing.
Ooh, okay.
First of all, I like you both so much. We like you
too.
We
like you too, Ivan.
You're awesome.
Are you Ivan or Ivan?
That's a good question. It's Bulgaria. It could be
I don't know.
Ivan, but...
Yeah, I'm not sure. Let us know. Give us the phonetic spelling so we say your name right next time.
Yeah, we wouldn't want to butcher it, so apologies. I don't know if it's Ivan or Ivan, but so either way. You're like my friends who I like to argue, laugh, and talk with every time I listen to you on my phone. It's a pleasure to have such true and deep fans of the show. Now, I kind of disagree with Charles's theory on a number of reasons.
Okay.
Let's see if you still do after this episode, Ivan. After my little, just pointing stuff out here.
Well, you know.
Yeah. So, one, the frog is an animal, or frog as an animal, but for my perspective, has to do more with evil than good.
Mm-hmm.
The Bible that I often read is talking about frogs on the last book of the Revelation. In there,
and also the plague. Let's not forget the plague.
Exactly. In there, frogs are 3 demon spirits. And so my association is more negative than positive, which all Laura is. I don't see Laura's birth as a frog. Number 2, the mother that we call the evil creature is giving birth to so many eggs, among them and Bob placenta. These eggs are very similar to the egg from which the frog came out.
Which is what I said.
Exactly. I think he means I am with Zan on this one.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
You're welcome. So there you go. Team Zan on that one. I think that in this particular topic, Charles is mixing good with evil.
Mm.
What I mean is that because of the woodsman, the girl fell asleep, and because of that, the frog got in. So how can evil helping good if it's against it?
Oh. Excellent question.
So the arm and the giant are helping the good and are against evil, it seems. So the woodsman I find evil, and he does not want Laura to come if he knows she's on the way. I think this creature is bad, not good. Anyways, I love you guys. We love you too. And you are doing a great job, and I am a huge fan. Cheers from Bulgaria.
Thank you so much for the feedback, Ivan. We want to hear whatever theories you've got.
Yep.
Because that's all we've got at this point, and
exactly.
It's always fun to talk about different theories and what could be happening next. And
yeah, so I just want to read that real quick and thank Ivan for writing in, and
thank you so much,
and thank you for listening. As we thank everybody for listening, because hey, apparently we doubled our listeners over the past month.
We did. Awesome.
We kicked unholy ass in the month of June. We were the 6th highest podcast on Southgate Media Group.
Fantastic.
Which was fantastic. So, yeah. So, cheers.
Thank you so much.
So, cheers to everybody who's digging the podcast. And keep telling all your friends, neighbors, Twin Peakies, everybody that loves the show, or even if they hate the show, tell them anyways.
If they hate Twin Peaks,
maybe they'll like it after they listen to us.
Tell them to listen to us, and maybe they'll at least feel some love.
Right.
So thank you all so much for listening. It means so much to us that people are out there listening to us and enjoying what we say and enjoying how we say it. And it's also just sometimes, especially 25 years after the fact.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just nice to know that there's still more people out there who have been loving the show for as many years as we have. It's great to know you guys are all out there.
It is. And, with starting up this podcast, I wasn't sure if because there's other Twin Peaks podcasts, if people are going to tune in. So I had a little anxiety about that, like I do everything else. And so I'm glad everybody's checking this out. And, keep spreading the word, guys. Keep circulating the URL.
Keep circulating the URL. Rate us, subscribe to us, tell people about us, and write into us and tell us your theories and tell us what you think, and tell us when you disagree with Charles. I love hearing that. No,
yeah, exactly.
I want to hear if you disagree with me too. So.
Hey, everybody loves hearing that you disagree with me. So that's great. So anyway, I'm okay with that. So obviously you could be like Ivan and email or drop us a line on Ghost with the Twin Peaks podcast on Facebook. We're up to 40 likes. Need 10 more to get to 50, so help us out. And or you can reach us on the Twitter machine at Ghostwoodcast, which is always acceptable. Or you can email us directly at ghostwoodpodcast@gmail.com. And we'll read your comments, if you want, right here on Ghostwood. So, Zan, where can they reach you?
Facebook, Zan Sprouse.
Yes.
Twitter and Instagram, Udinax19.
Excellent. And, of course, I'm at Charles Skaggs on the Twitter machine, at Charles Skaggs on the Instagram, Facebook, Charles Skaggs, conveniently enough, and Google Plus for all you crazy kids in the Google Plus. And my blog of geeky things.
Damn good coffee. And hot.
Damn good coffee and hot. As Zan can't laugh at me for screwing up the damn good coffee line.
Well, it just means I don't get my error noise. But that's okay. Fantastic.
I do that just for you.
Thank you so much, Charles.
You're welcome. I know you like it. So, Damn Good Coffee and Hot, where I talk about Twin Peaks and Ghostwood, and just posted the news about the Emmy nominations that were announced today. Westworld kicked all kinds of unholy ass as well.
As well it should have.
Yeah, and unfortunately American Gods only got a couple, so I was a little disappointed by that.
Yeah, well.
And Legion totally was snubbed. But I'm a little ragey about that one. But because if nothing else, Aubrey Plaza should have got an Emmy nom.
Aubrey Plaza is wonderful.
She's great, and she was fantastic as the Shadow King. So very cool.
Right.
So, but apart from that, I think that's it. And Zan's camera has faded from the distance, so I guess.
Yeah, we've been having internet problems the entire week, so.
Yeah, no problem. So I guess we'll sign off for now while we still can. And thanks, everybody, for tuning in to Ghostwood, the Twin Peaks podcast.
See you next week, everybody. Hope to hear from you. Bye.
Next week, part 10.
Yay.
Bye. Yay. Bye.